I was in a relationship where I was constantly lied to. The person is no longer in my life, but why does it hurt to be lied to? I'm still healing from it. Well, it hurts because you are taking it personally, and what hurts in you is still the ego. The ego says, he lied to me. He lied to me. It doesn't realize that he acted according to his level of consciousness. And right now, you're no longer in a relationship with him, he's probably lying to somebody else. So you were not singled out by him and said, I'm going to lie to her. But of course, the egoic interpretation, to me, he betrayed me. He did what he couldn't help doing, that's all. You take yourself out of it. Or in other words, what does it say in the 4 agreements? One of them is take nothing personally, and that's a wonderful recommendation. So he lied because his level of consciousness at this time, his particular conditioning, makes him lie, and he may not even know that he's doing it. He might believe in his own lies while he's lying, or maybe somewhere at the very back of his mind he knows it's not true, but that's covered up by such an identification with the mind stream and whatever words are coming out of his mouth that he virtually believes in his own lies. So that's it. The heaviness goes out of it when you see that every human being acts according to their level of consciousness. It's not really directed to you. Sometimes people take everything personally, even driving in the traffic. Somebody does something to cut you off, and you take it personally. He doesn't even know who is in that other car. You are in it, but it's interpreted by the ego as if he did something to me, as if he had singled you out to offend you. He does it constantly. It just happened to be you in that car that he did it to. So. But that is the ego loves that kind of thing. It loves because then it can complain about what others have done to me. And the more you complain what others have done to me, the stronger the me gets. This is unconscious, of course. So by complaining about others, how they have not necessarily lied, not necessarily cut you off in traffic, but have somehow failed in their relationship towards me, whatever their function was. And it's unconscious and very satisfying to the ego to complain about those people who have somehow failed or transgressed or done something or not done something that they should have done to me. And it's one of the favorite occupations of the egos to complain about other people. It's so satisfying. Because the more I complain about somebody else, the more right I can feel in myself, and the more right I constantly am. And of course, the world is full of people that give you ample opportunity to complain about. There's never a shortage of people you can complain about. And life does that, not to annoy you, but to make you more conscious. So all these people who don't live up to your expectations, that they should do exactly what is right and exactly do what needs to be, exactly how they should be, which means my expectations. All these people, have they been put there by some malignant demon to make your life miserable? Is that how that's what some people they believed? Some of the Gnostics, the early Christians, they had some wonderful insights too. But one of their beliefs was that this world was created by some demon, and therefore it was our job to escape from it. This is not a totally correct perception, but I can see why they thought that. So yes, the world is full of people who don't do what they should be doing according to your mind. But so you have to catch yourself, if it still happens to one or two of you, when you complain about others, whatever it is, even simple things, somebody not turning up on time, and if you can step out of the complaining pattern, that unfortunately to the ego seems as if you were starving it, and unfortunately that's what it is. The ego will begin to feel, I'm shrinking. If I'm not complaining, there's less of the me. I can't blow myself up if I'm not complaining, because when you complain, you get bigger. And the louder and the more emotional the complaint is, the bigger you get, like a balloon. And then anger might be added to the complaint. So I'm fed up with these people. Who do they think they are? So you could practice whenever you feel a complaint wants to come out of your mouth. You could practice relinquishing that and see what it feels like. At first it will feel as if something were missing in your life. Then you'll feel a peace arising. Now somebody right now is thinking, do you mean I should become a doormat and allow people to do whatever they do? No. You can still, whatever information you need to convey to somebody can still be conveyed, if that's the right thing to do, without complaining. You can take action without complaining. If you have a handy person you're calling somebody to repair something in your house, he doesn't turn up, and then you call him again, he says, yes, I'm coming at 3, he doesn't turn up. At some point, you'd have to say, okay, I'll have to choose somebody else. And then you can call him and say, you didn't turn up 2 or 3 times, so I've decided to go with somebody else. Thanks for listening. Complaining does not help him, it doesn't make him more conscious. It only strengthens your identification with the false self. That's all the benefit that it has. So you can take action, you can also inform somebody of this or that without complaining about them. Another thing that happens when you complain is you create pseudo-identities in your mind for who these people are that you complain about, because when you complain, the complaint becomes in your mind who that person is. So who that person truly is becomes virtually completely obliterated by the mental complaint that you have about him or her. So you lose complete contact with that other human being, and the other human being becomes totally other, so you don't even realize that you share a common essence, oneness, kindness. Let's not even talk about kindness, it disappeared long ago. So that mental formation complaint obliterates the rest of the person very quickly, very easily. And that's another way in which space is lost, inner space. One of the patterns of the mind. And yes, so be grateful to all these people who are so, according to the judgmental mind, so lacking in this, that, or obnoxious, because they make you more conscious. That's part of the limitations that you encounter. Think of the Sufi master and his self-chosen training. Now imagine this same person saying, what he did to me, he just said, I would become his slave. He didn't even pay anything to buy me. He just took me, and now look how the way he is treating me. I have to be his. This is a miserable existence. This person has no conscience whatsoever. He's a low human being, and he could go on complaining in his mind for years, and it would be very satisfying to the ego. And then he would emerge as a bigger ego after this. And then you go to him and say, I can tell you what human beings are like. I know it. So as a spiritual practice, then, I recommend not complaining, which doesn't mean you can't take action. We know that, no? But not complaining. And it starts with not complaining out aloud, and even if you stop yourself saying something, in the mind it may still be happening. But so then you have to get in there with your attention and see whether there's any purpose in thinking complaining thoughts in your head. So even after you have able not to speak them out aloud, still be watchful to see whether your mind is still complaining, and although you're not saying it, you're still thinking it. And once you look at the thought, you realize that it doesn't make your life more pleasant or joyful, that kind of thought, not really. And you can live without it, and actually life feels much better without it, lighter, clearer. So